That was Estefano Feliciano Jr. with a key hold.
He cut left, and it was just a foot race. Right at the top of the screen, about the 18-yard line. And then it just became a foot race. But we'll see it at the top of the screen. The hold took place around the 17-yard line. He was already through it and gone. It didn't have to happen. What a start that would have been for Old Dominion inside the 5-yard line of Virginia.
Instead, the JUCO transfer Stone Smart will take it from his own 23-yard line. And on first down, a running play to Lala Davis for ODU.
Yeah, he took advantage of his red shirt, the red shirt rule last year, and played in 4 games and was still able to redshirt him. He's the feature back. His good speed and good power.
Stone Smart, first-year quarterback for Old Dominion. He replaces Blake LaRusso, who had a year of eligibility left and chose to attend seminary school. Smart, a junior college All-American last year at Riverside City Junior College out of Sacramento, California. He'll hand it off again. And a first down run. A couple of carries early for Lala Davis, and ODU with the first down.
And I think it's important for ODU to get that for the initial first down in this game. We still talk about the kickoff return. That's a great start, kind of a lull, but then to come back and pick up the first down, move the chains early in the game. Got to stay away from mistakes on the road. It's a nice start for ODU.
Monarchs had a bye last week. They beat Norfolk State by just 3 in the opener and then lost 31-17 at Virginia Tech 2 weeks ago. A bit of a revenge spot for the Hokies. Smart off play action to the sideline and incomplete with the coverage from Bryce Hall, leading us to tonight's Chick-fil-A Impact Players.
Yeah, offensively for ODU, Eric Kuma, their wide receiver.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 94, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, there's an impact play.
Yeah, and then Lala Davis, we've got a chance to see him already. Bryce Hall is a shutdown corner who is going to be an NFL player. And then Charles Snowden, big, long, athletic outside linebacker.
15-yard penalty, meanwhile, on Aaron Falmouy with the late hit against Smart. 2 first downs for ODU. He got him low. So the Monarchs just shy of midfield. And Smart will dump it to Davis in the flats. And Davis is immediately brought down by Matt Gamm, the junior linebacker.
Oh, nice composure by Stone Smart in the face of the blitz. Knew exactly where to go with the football to check it down. And just, Lala Davis just couldn't shake himself free. A nice open field tackle by Virginia there to hold him right around the line of scrimmage. So important down here. You want to stay out of 2nd and long, 3rd and long. So look for ODU to run the football here. 90% of the time when teams don't have success on first down, they tend to rely on the running game.
Bottom 10 in the nation in yards per play in the first 2 games, only 4.5 per. Off a high snap, Smart will keep it. He is a true dual threat quarterback, and he plunges ahead for 7 yards.
And a guy that just wins. All he does is win football games. Back-to-back state titles in high school. A junior college All-American. You can see why he was so attractive for ODU to recruit him, for Coach Wilder to bring him in. Nice patient runner, lets the blocks set themselves up, and then does an excellent job of moving the down and distance marker to get it to 3rd and 3. I want to make sure that they get everything in order.
Timeout.
So
Old Dominion,
Coach Wilder's
first time out of the half.
Going to spend a timeout here.
First of the half before a key 3rd down in UVA territory. Threat quarterback facing a 3rd and 3 in Virginia territory. The running back, Matt Geiger, Smart fakes it to him and has a wide open tight end, Marcus Joyner, for a first down to the UVA 23, a gain of 23.
Yeah, very sound offensively, showing some patience and an excellent play fake to get Marcus Joyner, the junior tight end, wide open down the field. I mean, excellent play fake by Stone Smart. I tell you what, this was a air raid type offense a couple of years ago. They have since started to build the system around Stone Smart and his ability to not only throw the football, but as you described, run it as well.
Their offensive coordinator, Brian Scott, told us the craziest thing I had to do this year was come up with a huddle. Matt Geiger on the first down handoff with a bruising run of 7, and Old Dominion is moving the ball well.
Excellent first drive. You know, that could be a heartbreaker, especially on the road, tough opponent. You have a kickoff return that gets you excellent field position, basically setting you up at point blank range, and that gets called back, and you got to go to work offensively. But to go right down the field, get inside the red zone with an opportunity to put points on the board here early, it's a great start for ODU.
Haven't seen Lala Davis since early. Looked like he was being worked on the sideline. Keyshawn Strong is the back, a fake to him, and a throw inside for the first down. Jake Herslow, the junior former walk-on, with a pickup of 6.
Well, and the fundamentals of Stone Smart has been coached well. The play fake and a nice quick whip of the hips and shoulders to get it back and complete it for the first down. Because you're going completely the other way, you got to go back, whip your hips and your shoulders around, and a nice completion. It's tough to do. Now they love Eric Kuma down here, one of our impact players.
He's at the top of the formation.
Yep.
Virginia Tech grad transfer Kuma at the top of your screen. Instead, it's a handoff to Strong, and he loses maybe a half yard. Mandy Alonso, the junior, blows it up.
Kuma is 6'3", about 223 pounds, big frame, good hands. He's the team's best receiver. So if they're going to throw it down here, and you want to throw it in a safe place, outside on the edges is that place to Eric Kuma.
One of 2 graduate transfers from Virginia Tech, the tight end Chris Cunningham as well. This Old Dominion offense has a lot of new faces. Big reason for the slow start. 8 new starters, 14 new players in their opener this year against Norfolk State.
And they've got Kuma at the top, a nice slant route.
And another timeout taken by Old Dominion. It's second.
Old Dominion, their second timeout of the half.
Spare no expense
30
to get
second
the right
timeout.
play called here. It's important, and I understand why. You want to make sure you're on the road, and it's an opportunity to score, not only score, but put the big points on the board, as I refer to touchdowns, and in early to make sure you got your business in order.
Well, Bobby Wilder had to remake this roster. They were one of the least experienced rosters in FBS coming back. They added 4 graduate transfers. Amusingly enough, 2 from Virginia Tech, Chris Cunningham and Eric Kuma, who were both on the field last year when Old Dominion delivered one of the biggest upsets in recent college football memory.
What is it? Can't beat them, join them?
I guess so. The funny thing is, though, Chris Cunningham and Eric Kuma, they couldn't beat Old Dominion, but they've never lost to Virginia.
Yeah.
In particular, Chris Cunningham, who was at Virginia Tech 1 year longer, he said what's on his mind this week is finishing 5-0 against UVA in his career. Cavaliers have a couple of hurdles to get over. They've ascended under Bronco Mendenhall, but they still haven't beat Virginia Tech in about a decade and a half now.
And watch for a smash route, inside slot to the corner, the outside receiver underneath.
High snap, Smart will take it,
Oh,
and
wow.
he is blown up. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Jordan Mack with the Mack truck of a hit.
That is the shot of all shots. I'd say a wake-up call. But those usually put... He just just teed off on Stone Smart. Got to get down, get low. You can't take those types of hits. Not for 4 quarters.
Senior captain in the middle. 240 career tackles coming in.
The previous play is under review.
Yeah, they're going to check this for targeting. To see if he didn't get a little bit high with that hit.
Joe Ritter's our replay official. He'll take a look with this.
And Jordan Mack, they're going to check it out and see if he didn't lunge with that hit. I mean, I didn't think so when I first saw it, but it could be close. It looked like just a good solid football tackle, and I think that's what it was. They're just making sure. Not sure if there was contact to the head or neck area. It really looked like a textbook tackle. Quarterback's lowering his head.
Is there forcible contact with the crown of the helmet? Is there forcible contact with the head or neck area?
I think both players lowered their helmets or lowered their heads to protect themselves, and this one there shouldn't be a targeting here.
You have to have an indicator of targeting. You have to have a launch, a crouch, a lead with a particular body part, helmet, shoulder, forearm, fist, hand, or elbow to the head or neck. You have to lower the head before attacking by initiating forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. If it's a targeting
After review, there is no foul for targeting.
All right, call. If there was a targeting, would have knocked out Mack for the rest of the game, and that's the right call made by our replay crew. Joe Ritter, our replay official, so Mack stays in the game.
He's the second leading tackler on this Virginia defense, so you can't really afford to lose him. Excellent player, sideline to sideline type talent, and a 4-year starter. Big down here for ODU.
From the 9, Smart will dump it off to Keyshawn Strong, and Strong is stood up at the 4-yard line.
The field goal unit will come on well within range of Nick Rice, their field goal kicker. He hit from 52 yards in practice this week.
Well, this will be around half of that. Nick Rice might have the best hair of any kicker in FBS. This is from 21. Well, it's not 7 for Old Dominion, but the Monarchs just took up more than half the first quarter with that drive. And if you want to win a game as a 4-touchdown underdog, you probably have to dominate the time of possession. So far, so good for ODU.
Yeah, you want to dominate time of possession, put a lot of pressure on Virginia's offense to start to match points and possess the football themselves, or when they get it, they have to put points on the board themselves. So it's an excellent start.
And we welcome those of you who just watched Pitt stun UCF on a 4th down touchdown catch by Kenny Pickett, an absolutely wild finish at Heinz Field. And we're here in Charlottesville, Virginia, a team that beat Pitt early in the year, the Virginia Cavaliers. Kevin Brown, Andre Ware, Edward Ashoff down the sidelines. Old Dominion just took 7 minutes, 38 seconds off the first quarter clock, partner, for a field goal and an early lead.
Yeah, and it was a kickoff return inside the 5-yard line, wiped out by a holding call that you thought might just stymie the momentum of ODU, but they came right back, marched the ball down the field, as you mentioned, chewed up a bunch of time, and was able to get a field goal out of it. Excellent mix of running and pass in that drive.
Joe Reed, one of the nation's most dangerous kick returners, will grab this one from the 16 and break out of a tackle at the 21. He's spun down at the 26.
He is fun to watch.
You know who else is fun to watch? Bryce Perkins.
Yeah.
Unless you're an ACC opponent.
The two of them, just combined, so far this year, 19 receptions for Joe Reed, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. They use him in a lot of ways. They'll line him up inside, outside, and then Bryce Perkins is just a tremendous football player.
16 straight completions during last week's win over Florida State. In the second half, threw for 295, ran for 46, had a big 2-point conversion late, and he'll air it out on the first play of the game for Virginia's offense, overthrowing the graduate transfer Terrell Chapman.
Yeah, you come into this game, you think Virginia going to just kind of wear down ODU's front 7, and they gave up some yards on the ground in their last game against Virginia Tech, but they come out trying to go deep. Their deep threat, Terrell Chapman, just is a little bit overthrown, and you're not going to overthrow him much. He is the team's deep threat.
Empty backfield for Perkins on second down, and a quick hitter to Billy Kemp, who was wrapped up after a gain of just 3 yards. Tackle made by the nickelback Geronda Hall. Well, third down for Bryce Perkins this year has been a money down. Sometimes Virginia's best play is a broken play.
Yeah, he is 6 for 6 this season when he runs on 3rd and 4th down in terms of converting and moving the chains. So keep an eye on Bryce Perkins. If things break down, he is not in the slightest bit going to hold the football and sit in the pocket. He will break, contain, and pick up and move the chains.
Motion to tight end Cowley. His favorite target, Joe Reed, was to the top of the left. Perkins not going that way. He is ripped to the ground by Jawan Ross for a loss of 10.
Big fella had a half sack coming in, but that's all by himself. And you rarely, and I mean rarely, see one defender get a hand on Bryce Perkins. It's an excellent job by the big guy, Jawan Ross. You're in the open field with one of the more dynamic players in college football. Big fella comes up with a huge play. I am impressed at the start for ODU.
Off the punt from Nash Griffin. This is in a whole lot of traffic. ODU bodies get away as it takes an awfully friendly Monarch bounce for a kick of just 28. So Old Dominion with the lead will start its second possession in Virginia territory. Stone Smart, a junior college transfer from Riverside City Junior College. Back-to-back state titles in high school at Del Oro, an 11-1 season last year at Riverside City Junior College. He was a first-team JUCO All-American. 31 touchdowns, just 3 picks. He's from an athletic family. Mom Pam, Dad Sean, both Sacramento State Hornet basketball players.
He's off to a good start, 4-4 for 33 yards.
Engineered a 12-play drive ending in a field goal. Zane Zandier chases him down here, and Smart heaves it up for a terrific catch made by Jake Herslow.
Well, you talk about having to get off to a good start. That's what ODU has done. You mentioned earlier how to pull off an upset. Belief, play with a nothing to lose mentality. I think they've got both those covered and keeping it close. Well, we have yet to get to the half, but they are right there in terms of their roadmap for pulling off an upset on the road.
After 28 yards, a loss of 1. Jordan Mack with a tackle for loss.
Let's go back and take a look at that catch. Jake Herslow just climbs the ladder and just brings that baby in, clearly inbounds. An excellent throw and catch.
And over Bryce Hall, the All-American corner. That is a former walk-on in Herslow who had 6 career catches coming into tonight. He's already got 2.
And 4 of those catches were this year.
Smart sets up the screen. Keyshawn Strong with a run befitting his name as he dives to the 10. Looks to have enough for an Old Dominion first down.
Well, when you turn the film on and you watch ODU, you see a bunch that plays extremely hard. On the road at Virginia Tech, they kept that game relatively close for the most part, well into the 4th quarter. Here, a nice game being called by Brian Scott, their offensive coordinator. It's keeping Virginia's defense off balance. A nice mix, as I mentioned earlier, of run and pass.
Strong, their leading returning receiver from last year, their slash guy in the backfield. In there on a 1st and goal. Smart will just have to throw this away for his first incompletion. Pressure there from a man who's hard to miss, 6'7", Charles Snowden off the edge.
Yeah, and sometimes it's tough to throw around those guys, let alone over them. He is an excellent player. His coaching staff here thinks that he has got an NFL future ahead of him. Got to take care of the football down here, Kevin. You march it down here, you want to come away with some points, have every drive end in a kick of some sort.
Smart will keep it. Defender down. Smart racing for the end zone, and he's got it. Touchdown, Old Dominion.
I think the play fake fooled everybody in the building, and when he decided to pull it, there was nothing but green grass in front of him. An excellent play fake by Stone Smart, just draws everybody inside, and a lot of green pastures in front of him on the way to the end zone. What a start by ODU.
Well, Virginia hadn't given up points on a first drive of either half this season. They give up a field goal on the first and a touchdown on the second. Smart scores from 10, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year for ODU, and it is 10-0 Monarchs.
Yeah, this is a defense that only gives up 18 points
Offside.
a game.
Defense, number 34. Penalty is declined. The try is good. Timeout.
And you know, that's 4th in the ACC. ODU off to a 10-0 start on the legs of Stone Smart.
Stone Smart has played the biggest 3 games of his career in terms of crowd size the first 3 weeks. Home for ODU, then on the road at Virginia Tech, tonight at UVA. It's a pretty full stadium, particularly in the lower bowl. And he does not look phased in the slightest. 6 for 7 with a touchdown run and a 10-point lead for ODU. Reed from his own 5-yard line will cut it inside and start Virginia across the 30 as we go downstairs to Edward Ashaw.
Yeah, guys, Bryce Perkins' story of coming to Virginia started with a neck injury where he thought he might never play football again. Coaches weren't sure if he was going to play football again. Obviously, we're seeing them out there tonight. And running back Wayne Talapapa told me that just seeing him at practice is motivation enough for them. The perseverance that he's shown to come back on the football field and then make great plays and throw his body around as much as he does. It motivates them to go harder because he's willing to put his body on the line.
August of 2016, Edward, he fractured the 4th and 5th cervical vertebrae in the middle of his neck during a practice at Arizona State, and he had to wear a neck brace 24/7 for 4 to 5 months. Have a flag thrown before anything could get started on this 1st and 10. Meanwhile,
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still. First down.
How about Virginia would come out running the football here after that last possession, but when you get a free 5 yards and it's still first down, that's the time you dial one up. Going back to Perkins, when you have that kind of work ethic, his work ethic at the quarterback position, the rest of the team has no choice but to fall in line.
play fake on first down. Perkins looks like he wants that shot. It's covered up downfield, and he'll take the broken play and turn it into magic, as he often does. A block on the outside from Joe Reed, though, might be coming back.
It is, and it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Assis Dubois, the wide receiver, with a late hit, and it was across way away from where Perkins was going out of bounds, and just flat out
The
unnecessary.
result of the play is a first down. After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 8. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. It will be 1st and 10.
Hassis Dubois is a young man who's had some maturity issues that Bronco Mendenhall's called out in his years as senior wide receiver, called for this flag.
Yeah, I mean, it's way away. You see where Perkins is going out of bounds, but way away from the play. There he is coming into the screen. Came into the screen late, but just unnecessary.
You might not see him for a while. Geronda Hall was blown up, so first down for Virginia at its own 33. Perkins will give it to Wayne Talapapa. Had a breakout Saturday night last week. 3 rushing touchdowns against Florida State and a gain of 8 on his first carry tonight.
The second in the in-conference USA in terms of rush defense, but in their last game against Virginia Tech, Hokies had a pretty good ball game on the ground against ODU. A lot of holes there. I expected Virginia to take that approach of running the football against this front 7 of ODU.
With a fullback, Jamari Peacock leading the way. Talapapa plunges ahead for 3. First down, Virginia. And we take a look on this side of the ball at our Chick-fil-A impact players.
And one of those, Wayne Talapapa, that you just called his name twice in the consecutive carries, along with Joe Reed, who is just a dynamic player, returner, receiver that they'll line up everywhere. Jordan Young and Lawrence Garner are the 2 mainstays and the playmakers on this ODU defense.
Garner, the captain. Young, a high school quarterback who barely played a down of defense before he came to ODU. Virginia will empty the backfield on 1st and 10 and throw a quick hitter to Reed, who is wrapped up immediately. A gain of 3 yards. There is Jordan Young, 6'3" redshirt junior on the tackle for ODU. Jordan Young is one heck of a story, too.
Yeah, Reed is a heck of a story himself. A guy that you want to get the football in his hands. And you talk about quick, can change direction, stop on a dime, stop and start on a dime. He is that kind of player and will line up just about everywhere.
Second down, and Perkins flips it behind him. He faked it to Talapapa, and that's the speedy Tavares Kelly. I mentioned Jordan Young. It's been quite a journey for him from high school quarterback to here, Edward Ashoff.
Yeah, he only played 2 quarters of defense in high school. He was a high school quarterback, and when Old Dominion was recruiting him, they totally looked at him as a linebacker, and they sat in his room with his brothers and his father and said, "You are a linebacker. You're not going to be an NFL quarterback." And he said, "Fine." And he has totally given into playing linebacker, and he could be an NFL linebacker. That's what his coaches say.
Just 2 quarters of defense in his high school career, and his ODU defense is getting off the field. Great coverage there. Tobias Moss with a late close on Terrell Jana.
Yeah, solid overall cover man, and he doesn't get rattled. He plays with sound technique, read the eyes of Bryce Perkins, and did a nice job of breaking on the football. So have a little fun as well after a play like that.
Graduate transfer from South Alabama, one of 4 grad transfers on this ODU roster this year. Darrell Brown with a fair catch at his own 10. A 10-point lead for Old Dominion. We're back in 60 seconds to Scott Stadium. ACC Network is your home for more ACC sports. Visit getaccn.com to check for providers in your area. If you don't see yours listed, contact them to demand they carry ACC Network. Downstairs at Ashoff.
Yeah, guys, kind of a slow start for Virginia, but defensive coordinator Nick Howell told us this week, look, if we're lagging, if we have a slow start, it's because we freaking put the gas pedal to the floor all the way until our tank was empty in that win against Florida State. So I don't think this is really shocking the coaches. And again, Bronco Mendenhall told us that he didn't think the talent difference was significantly different between Old Dominion and Virginia.
It is an Old Dominion team that knows how to come in here and win, and it's a Virginia team that again, we thought he'd be focused, but that energy level after last week is a question.
Yeah, and so much respect that he told us that as the game was closer towards the end, he felt like ODU would be there and play hard. Did not say that or have that same feeling against Florida State. Felt like they would wither in a close game last week, and ultimately they did.
They're going to need to come back again, UVA. A 10-point lead for the Monarchs after one. Lacrosse team given its championship rings in between the first and second quarters. The Cavaliers men's lacrosse team winners over Yale in the final earlier this year, adding to Virginia's championship year. Men's basketball, men's lacrosse. A great start to the football team with a 3-0 record. They trail by 10, however, to Old Dominion. And Chris Cunningham, the Virginia Tech graduate transfer, breaks a tackle and picks up 26 yards to start the second quarter.
Well, I tell you, and it's just a team that's starting to play with a lot of confidence, and that can be scary if you're a Cavalier fan. Got off to a great start, turned the first drive into points, and here they are on the move again.
Bryce Hall and a couple others missed the tackles. Cunningham had the only touchdown for Virginia Tech in the win over Virginia 2 years ago. Graduate transfer at ODU. A first down handoff to Blake Watson. And I'll tell you what, Old Dominion right now, Andre, just plain and simple, is beating up Virginia up front.
Yeah, Blake Watson's kind of a Swiss Army knife type guy. They love to use him on speed sweeps. He's a young player who's really coming along fast and gaining the confidence of their coaching staff. And this is, it's impressive, the start that ODU has had. 2 drives. First 2 drives, they produce points, and they're on the move again.
Already 7 first downs. Smart, with a couple of blitzing linebackers, heaves it up and overshoots Keyshawn Strong.
And Mandy Alonso, the right defensive end, came free in the face of Stone Smart. Tried to pump and go up the sideline from a formation that they would usually throw a tunnel screen in, and it was there. Keyshawn Strong was open, but he just overshot him. And this is where you might want to keep an eye on Stone Smart if you're Virginia, because he can pick this up with his legs.
Virginia brings pressure. It's a handoff to Strong, and he's wrestled down 1 yard shy of the line to gain.
Now, when I talked to Bobby Wilder, I said, hey, you talk about keeping it close. What if you get off to a lead? So we came to win. So this situation doesn't surprise me that he's going to go for it here on 4th down. We're going to press the gas. Were the words he used with me. Trying to get Virginia to jump. And he may spend his last time out of the first half.
Do they run a play here? What do you think?
I think they run one. You got momentum. Still a lot of time on the play clock.
They're going to run it. It's Strong for the first down to midfield.
Well, and that is belief in your football team and in particular your offensive line. To get the job done in short yardage situations, you're on your own side in negative yardage territory, and you elect to go for it hard. The hard running of Keyshawn Strong picks up the first down.
I believe the exact scenario you presented to Bobby Wilder was, what if you get out to a 10-0 lead?
And here they are.
Boy,
you didn't know I could see the future sometimes? Every once in a while it shows up.
I mean, how many coaches in America don't punt that ball and say we wanted to play field position?
With a lead, most would.
On first down, it's another handoff to Watson. He is tripped up and taken down for a loss.
You could see the confidence in the body language of this ODU football team in that last run by Watson. I mean, there's nothing there. And he's fighting and scratching to keep his balance just to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, just about a half-yard shy. But right now playing with a lot of confidence and has this Virginia defense on its heels.
This is an Old Dominion team that barely squeaked by FCS Norfolk State in week 1. Needed a late touchdown to win by 3. Smart with a quick hitter, Strong. Couple of blockers are there. Tries to slip past Mack and cannot for a gain of 4. And we send it to the studio before this 3rd down.
And Kev, our AT&T best performance takes us to Clemson. Tigers home to Charlotte. Trevor Lawrence already a 58-yard touchdown to T. Higgins. This one a pick 6. Kevon Wallace, 66 yards. Clemson seeking its 19th straight win. It's 14th by at least 14 points, and they appear to be on their way. 14-0 over on the ACC network. Kev?
All right, Kev, thank you. Clemson picked to win the ACC Atlantic. Virginia picked to meet them in the title game. Picked to win the ACC Coastal. And facing a key 3rd down defensively. And nobody guarded Matt Geiger. Geiger is inside the 20, on his feet, and a house call. 47 yards for Old Dominion's 4th string running back. And Scott Stadium is in shock.
Geiger slips out of the backfield. Nobody, and I mean nobody, accounted for him. I stood up because I could see him coming wide open, and so did Stone Smart, and Geiger did the rest of it. Just outracing everybody, breaking a tackle, and getting himself into the end zone. What a start for Old Dominion.
Broke the tackle of Joey Blunt. And Old Dominion, a 4-touchdown underdog, leads by 3 scores.
Oh, my man Jay Harris is proud of his alma mater right now. A house call by Geiger, a nice touch pass by Stone Smart, and ODU leading this baby 17-0.
About as big of an underdog spot. And Matt Geiger, who did not touch the ball in the first 2 games, just scored on a 47-yard catch, broken tackle, and run. It's a 17-point deficit for the hometown Hoos, but Joe Reed might just dent it. Joe Reed up the field and into Old Dominion territory. A play that Virginia absolutely needed, a return of 48.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown catch by Geiger. He had 3 linebackers in the game, or 2 linebackers, and the safety, Chris Moore, who is responsible for Geiger. He gets lost with the formation. The 2 linebackers inside come on a blitz at the quarterback, and it allows Geiger to slip right outside unnoticed. Chris Moore knows right away, you see him number 7 in chase position, that he is beaten and in the wrong spot.
And now Virginia with great field position and a quick hitter to Tavares Kelly Jr. He's the jitterbug of the wide receiver group, and it takes about half the Monarchs, led by Geronda Hall, to get him down after 7.
Yeah, he's in the finals of the 100 meters in the state of Florida, and you get to the finals in the 100 in Florida, you can run, my man.
He's out of St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the great high school programs in the nation. Second down, the back is Lamont Atkins, the junior. And he'll block. Perkins eluding the pressure. And this is reeled in for a first down by Terrell Jana, the junior out of Vancouver.
And we had a chance to sit down with him and visit with him for a while. He returned 3 months after a meniscus tear and a femur damage to his femur. Went to work in rehab. It's usually a 4 to 6 month process. He was back and in practice for spring ball. Missed the bowl game, but was back in action for spring practice.
Representing his home country on his helmet right there with the Canadian flag. This is Talapapa on a first down carry. He has stuffed Lawrence Garner, the senior captain and leading tackler, fill the hole.
And I can't stress enough, Kevin, the importance for Virginia to get some points on the board. The way that ODU has gone about its business on the offensive side is scary. And you got to start to match points here, and you're already down 17-0.
No gain on that play. It was a redshirt junior, beg your pardon, and Garner with the stop.
Where is Joe Reed?
In the slot left, and the ball's headed his way. Joe Reed is planted about 2 yards shy of a first down.
We've already lined him up at about 3 different spots in different formations. Out wide left, once in the slot left about 4 or 5 times now. Slot right 3. Yeah, he's just all over the place, and he is just a dynamic player. Saw the kickoff return. Scary to kick to him.
On 3rd and 2, Talapapa is met in the hole and driven backwards for no gain.
It's decision time for Coach Mendenhall.
Garner was in there again, and what do you do here on a 4th and 2?
Well, he's not going to flinch. He's sending in some speedy wide receivers. Maybe spread ODU out and throw the football here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bryce Perkins do his thing here on 4th down and will his team to this first down.
He had a key 4th and 2 run against Florida State last week late in that game. He needs the 6-yard line for first.
Here comes the blitz.
ODU with a heavy rush. Perkins eludes the first man on the run, gets past the second, and he will score. Bryce Perkins, absolute magic.
When the first defender lunged and did not get there, lost contain, Bryce Perkins makes defenses pay. Derek Wilder swung and missed, and that gave Bryce Perkins a nice little alley into the end zone. What a player.
Well, this time he didn't pick up the first down on a 3rd or 4th down run.
He just said, forget about that. Let's go get all the points.
Went ahead and stuck in 6. Brian Delaney adds number 7. After the big kick return by Reed, it's a 4th down scamper for Perkins, and Virginia's on the board. Passionate fans like the Virginia Cavaliers fans by awarding the Liv Moss Student Section of the Year. The UVA Student Section is already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell. See how your school can compete or get the committee's attention by using hashtag #LivMoss Student Section Contest. Virginia fired up after an 8-yard touchdown run on a 4th and 2 from Bryce Perkins. The Cavaliers on the board after spotting Old Dominion 17.
Well, you kind of felt like they weren't going to flinch. They got down 17-0 and knew they needed to get in the end zone. Bryce Perkins surprised me. He's the one to get him in either.
Brian Delaney boots it into the end zone for a touchback, and we check in back at the studio with Kevin Connors.
And Kev, let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update in Palo Alto. Oregon Stanford, Justin Herbert at it again. Jacob Breland hauls it in. No picks in his last 162 attempts. Ducks lead this one 14-3 over on ESPN, Kev.
I kept right down the road on ESPN. Right down the road in terms of your channel guide. Anyway, a 10-point lead for ODU, and we go downstairs to Ed Ashoff. Eddie.
Yeah, guys, coming over to the sideline after that last touchdown, Jordan Mack and Charles Snowden were 2 of the first guys to hit the bench. Jordan Mack slammed his helmet down. A couple of assistants came over as more players came around him and said, hey, get your head up, get back into this game. Walked away and then came right back and said, guys, get your heads up and get back into this game. That long play on offense got them off the bench really fast.
A Virginia defense that's allowed just 18.3 points per game against this year. Already 17 versus.
Please set the game clock to 6 minutes and 57 seconds.
Okay.
6-5-7.
When there's a field goal kick with 1 second to go in the half, remember this moment.
It's 1 extra second to get a playoff. That's all it takes sometimes.
How about schematically? Forget the emotion for a second.
Right.
What is Virginia not doing defensively against this offense?
Well, I think it's just a lot of window dressing. You keep in mind, ODU had a bye week. So there's extra extra game planning and time in which to get prepared for this. So they're showing a lot of things and then shooting the ball out the opposite way of where they're showing it initially. Here, nice job of run defense. Bryce Hall coming up in run support. One of the better corners in the entire country. I had a chance to visit with him. Very impressed with a young man, even keel. That's a guy that's not going to get too high or low.
37th consecutive start for Bryce Hall. According to Pro Football Focus, he was the top defensive player returning to FBS this year. He is matched up with Eric Kuma at the bottom of the formation. And Stone Smart could not throw it that way.
Wow.
And he's run out of bounds by Jordan Mack.
How about that closing speed? I mean, absolutely amazing. That's 6'2", 230 pounds of Jordan Mack. That said, enough of this. You're not going to turn the corner on this defense. The same guy that Ed just talked about, getting a little emotional on the sideline and trying to rally the troops. There's nothing like a player that backs up his talk.
6 straight games with at least a half sack for Jordan Mack, who had 4 coming in to lead all FBS linebackers on the season into the weekend.
Yeah, this is important for ODU to not turn the ball over down here. Look for maybe a draw play or some quick screen.
It's just going to be a draw to Davis, and ODU will get the punt team on the field after a ferocious series from Virginia's defense.
Yeah, and it's gotten emotional now where you got a fired up defense and you're trapped down inside your own 20-yard line. The last thing you could have happen if you're Coach Wilder is your team put the ball on the ground or you throw an interception of some sort and give Virginia excellent field position. They're going to have it with this punt, but you certainly don't want to turn it over down this deep in your own side of the field.
Billy Kemp back to receive the punt from Bailey Cape. Kemp muffed a couple of punts against Florida State last week. He will not get a chance here. A good leftward spiral for ODU.
Still excellent field position.
A kick of 44. Virginia will start from its own 40. A Week 3 Monday Night Football matchup that dates back to 1932. The Bears look to go to 2-1 at winless Washington. Monday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 6 with Monday Night Countdown. The Bears, of course, led by a former ACC quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky, and there are a whole lot of ACC signal callers in the league, with Daniel Jones set to start this year. That makes 9, the most from any conference in FBS. I don't know if Bryce Perkins is going to make it as an NFL starter, but we know he's making it as an ACC starter, and that in itself has been a surprise to some other teams in the league, not Virginia. Perkins delivers a first down strike. Hassis Dubois back in the game after that early personal foul.
I certainly think he will. He throws accurately. He can throw accurately into tight windows. He shows good touch, and the mobility is obviously there. The guys said the same thing about Lamar Jackson coming out of college at Louisville, that, he's going to switch positions, so on and so forth. He's lighting up the NFL right now, so I don't see anything that would stop or prevent Bryce Perkins. 6'3", 215 pounds. The measurables are there.
Perkins will run it. We talked to Robert and their offensive coordinator, yesterday. He said every one of our competitors in our conference was smirking when we signed Bryce. A lot of folks thought he'd move to wide receiver or running back. And Bronco Mendenhall was pretty candid about this. He said, look, we can talk about the culture and the program we built. The reality is, without number 3, we're not where we are. We're not close.
It's not even close. I mean, he put him on his back last week against Florida State and danced into the end zone. A little false start here. Wow. The offensive lineman, I'm not sure of the number, but got manhandled by Keon White.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
I mean, Keon White is playing like a grown man. 6'4", 270 pounds of it. Move to defensive end from tight end. And it's been he's taken off as a young player.
Virginia 0 for 3 on third downs, and Dubois was in there.
Wow.
Did he hang on to it? He did not. Make it 0 for 4.
Hello, Calvin Bruton. The safety on the back end is why he couldn't hold on to it. What a shot by number 4, Calvin Bruton. Looked like Dubois was going to make that grab, and was right in the middle of the 8.
Well, you think Florida State would want him back? Grad transfer from FSU. They could have used those kind of hits against Virginia last week in this building.
They have done a nice job of putting together this roster.
ODU with the ball and a 10-point lead late in the first half.
Fort will show you the controversial finish at Oxford, plus LSU, Alabama, Tua, Joe Burrow, all dominant. Plus, wait till you see the Pittsburgh special. It's all coming up when you join me and Emmanuel Acho on the Mazda Halftime Report. Kev?
We had the Philly special a couple of years ago, the Pitt special to beat UCF today. Maybe the Allentown special next, the Muhlenberg special. I don't know. Either way, it was a great win for Pitt to stun UCF today. A much-needed win for the ACC period after a brutal week last week, and ACC fans might be sweating a little bit looking at this scoreline.
Much-needed win for Pat Narduzzi
Yes,
as well.
No field goals down at the goal line in this one.
His team fought back, played to the last whistle, literally.
So Virginia with all 3 timeouts. ODU with a second and 8 at its own 20. Chance for good field position if the Cavaliers can get another 3 and out. Stone Smart 9 for 11 in the game, and he'll keep it on the ground to Keyshawn Strong. A gain of 3 yards, and let's see, Virginia will use one of those timeouts.
Timeout. Virginia, their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds. Timeout.
A lot of confidence in their offensive line to try to shake these running backs. Keyshawn Strong free. He and Blake Watson.
Well, Old Dominion took the ball. For those of you who just joined us, you missed Old Dominion take more than half of the first quarter clock off on one drive. They only got 3 there, but ended up with a 48-yard touchdown drive, then an 89-yard drive before the 3 and out last time. So far, they have been the more physical team.
Yeah, they've been red hot in the first couple of drives, but before this one, I thought the momentum had kind of shifted, and Virginia had it, playing well on both offense and defense. And ODU got to get it revved up again. But the first touchdown was by Stone Smart, a quarterback keeper, and he's able to find his running back out of the backfield. Geiger turning it into a long touchdown. And here we are. Bryce Perkins gets in the end zone. And we stand at 17-7.
Smart to throw it. Now to run it. And he dives, but he's about 2 yards shy of the first down. And Virginia will get the ball back after using a second timeout.
Timeout. Virginia, their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
ODU
timeout.
receivers running full routes and pressure's coming. And if you're in a huddle with receivers, like, look, it's third and long. I need you to get into your route and maybe even shorten it up. But get to the first down marker, shorten it up so I can get the ball out of my hands. And there, you're taking your time getting down the field. It gets hot in that kitchen.
Well, next week in prime time on Saturday night, the Buckeyes, fresh off a tightrope walk against Miami of Ohio, 76-5, will visit Nebraska. Scott Frost and the Huskers looking to go to 3-1 tonight. 7:30 Eastern on ABC and streaming live on the ESPN app. Miami, Ohio led that game 5-0, and I hope somebody in Oxford took a picture of the scoreboard at that moment.
Right after you sent that text to me, it was all downhill.
76 in a row for Ohio State. Ooh, Hunt is away from Cade. An Old Dominion player lost a helmet, and a fair catch made by Billy Kemp. The Virginia coaches stressed it to us. This was not a look-ahead week. But you couldn't blame them. They go to Notre Dame next week. Irish playing Georgia right now. Then a bye week. Then a trip to Miami. 4 of the next 5 are on the road. And Virginia as the coastal favorite. Maybe that game at Miami, the toughest ACC one. But boy, have they got some tests before that.
Tough schedule certainly the next 4 weeks. And you mentioned the game on the road at North Carolina. But that is a rough road after this one.
Well, Bryce Perkins had a clean pocket, no one to throw it to, and Perkins taken down after a yard. Juwan Ross was in there.
Well, what's the #1 rule in a 2-minute drill? Can't take a sack. No matter what, the ball's got to come out. If you just throw it away to save the time, you can't take a sack.
On second down, Perkins will air it out. And that is Caleb Ford Dement in coverage. Did he haul it in?
Yes.
No, apparently not.
Oh, I guess he dropped it. Looked like he had it there for a while.
And it'll be 3rd and 9.
Not sure the receiver to that side, but going up, and you got to turn into a defensive back at that point. The ball did actually come out. Actually, it's Terrell Jana who went up and poked that football out.
Jana had to turn into a defensive back himself. So 3rd and 9, Perkins. A rush of 4 for ODU. The pass is caught, but shy of the sticks by a couple of yards to Jana. And once again, good coverage by Ford Dement.
And once again, it's going to be 4th down time for Bronco Mendenhall. And he didn't blink. He's going to go for it. Team's down by 10. You got to have it here. You got a guy like Bryce Perkins. You feel pretty confident that he'll be able to help or pick up the 1st down.
Do you snap it right away or let some clock run? They'll snap it right away. Perkins pressured into coverage and knocked away by Caleb Ford Dement again.
Boy, that is a big gamble on your side of the 50-yard line, because now you leave 54 seconds and a timeout on the clock for ODU. Not to mention the momentum of that you get from stopping a guy like Bryce Perkins on 4th down. That is a tall order. He had pressure from Derek Wilder and Keon White and forced him to get rid of the football. This is shot time here. This is a bonus possession for Stone Smart.
And Virginia will start with the ball in the second half. Could have punted it, taken the 10-point deficit on the ball. Instead, here's Smart, who gets smacked. Robert Snyder in on the play for no gain, and the clock ticks at 45 seconds.
Yeah, you're still trying to, at the very least, get into field goal range. So they may want to speed it up here.
Remember, they have a good leg from Nick Rice, who hit from 52 in practice this week, they told us. Smart will take it to the sideline, actually lose a couple. Noah Taylor, who was in on that last tackle, chased him down.
Yeah, they're going to need guys like Eric Kuma to shake himself free. Chris Cunningham caught a pass earlier in the ball game. He's going to have to get himself going. Marcus Joyner, the other tight end. Stephen Williams, an excellent receiver. This receiving core is going to have to help Stone Smart out here.
Line to gain is the 36. Smart short of that line. It's the tight end Marcus Joyner. Picked up 7.
Okay, Rob. Coach Wilder just let it run out.
Take a timeout and then air it out for a Hail Mary?
I wouldn't play around with that, mess around and get an injury. You got the lead. Let's just get into halftime and talk about it. He might be thinking exactly
Timeout.
what you just described.
Third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Just don't know with the lead, a 10-point lead. Just be satisfied getting into the locker room with that one. And I'm all about, you don't score enough points in the first half of a ball game, but when it worked itself out in that series like that, Yeah, go ahead and get into the locker room.
The anatomy of an upset. That's what Bobby Wilder's built. 4 bullet points he's told his team. Number 1 was get some belief. Number 2 was keep it close at the half. Number 3, put some doubt in our opponents and their fans. I'd say they're 3 for 3 so far. And the last one, keep it close in the 4th quarter. They've avoided the knockout punch. They've certainly created some doubt.
Yeah, when it's close in the 4th quarter, go for it on 4th down. And here he is doing it at halftime, before the half.
Smart will just flip it to Watson. Blake Watson on the cutback. Oh boy. A lot of defenders in front of him still, and Watson's ridden out of bounds at the 20. No flags to be seen.
Yeah, and I think you look at this, and why is it happening? Well, ODU they're coming off a bye week where they had total focus and an extra week to put into practice what they wanted to do tonight, and I think they've hit a home run with each and everything on offense and defense.
Virginia will start with the ball after the return from Joe Reed. Well, we talked to Bronco Mendenhall yesterday. He preached the building of this program, the patience of this team, and the fact that they would not overlook ODU. So what do you think was his message in the locker room?
Well, they're going to have to show some patience, and we're not going to get it all back in one play. Let's methodically put the ball in the end zone, have a good start to the second half where it comes off with some type of points, and then let's play the thing out. But they're not going to back down. They will be here at the end of the 4th quarter.
A run play for first down to start it. Talapapa. Virginia did not run it well in the first half. Talapapa picks up 2. The Wahoos just 25 yards rushing on 11 carries.
And kind of surprising because ODU is not good in run defense against Virginia Tech a couple of weeks ago, and that's something that they obviously worked on coming into this one.
Short throw for Perkins. Terrell Jana. And he's up near the sticks. Tackle made by Tobias Moss, Calvin Bruton. It's enough for a Virginia first down.
You start by Perkins to the second half. When you can hit one early, your confidence starts to grow as a quarterback. Chains is the object that he needs to have happen right now. Just continuously move the chains.
Perkins with a solo run for 2 yards. Bobby Wilder said to our Edward Ashoff at the half, they kept Perkins in the pocket every play but one. The one resulted in a touchdown. Otherwise, how do you think ODU's handled Perkins?
I think absolutely fantastic when you can only allow one. He's run for a first down on a couple of occasions, but that big touchdown run, I thought they've been solid defensively in defending one of the nation's big-time playmakers.
Lost 5 of their top 7 defensive linemen, including O'Shane Zimenez, a 3rd-round pick of the Giants. So they were a little thinner up front. They've held their own. Here's a quick strike, Billy Kemp. And Kemp is wrestled down a couple of yards shy of a first down. 3rd down coming up, and we go downstairs to the aforementioned Ed Ashoff.
Yeah, Kevin, I asked Coach Mendenhall coming out after halftime, what was your message to your team in the locker room? And he said, we got to be hungry. Old Dominion was hungrier than we were. You guys have to show your hunger in your execution. I asked him, how do you get Bryce Perkins in this offense going? He said, well, he doesn't have anybody getting separation at receiver. He has no one to throw to. So if they keep doing that, he's going to have to use his legs more.
And Virginia tries to go up the gut on a 3rd down and actually loses yards. Cavaliers were 0 for 5 on 3rd downs in the first half, and Keon White just blew it up for a loss.
Keon White called his name a couple of times tonight, and talk about a guy that is playing with his hair on fire. He is all over the place. And a couple of 4th down or short yardage situations, ODU has turned Virginia around, turned them the other way.
Bobby Wilder told us they moved White from defensive end to that bandit edge rusher spot because of the bye week. And White's had a terrific game. He got PK Kyer for the loss of 1 there. And Old Dominion will start at its 22 after a punt of 31 from Griffin.
Yeah, that bandit position is a big-time spot in David Blackwell's defense, and it's, you're all over the place. The matchups that you create or he creates for that position, and he just felt like Keon White was suited for it. And I tell you what, it's been an absolute fantastic move thus far for his defense.
How about the play of Stone Smart in the first half? What impressed you?
Just everything. Not turning the ball over, you know, running when necessary, and getting the ball out quickly, protecting the football.
Charles Snowden shows off the edge. Smart keeps it, trying to elude Jordan Mack, and
tough.
he cannot. There is a flag down.
Mack is so fast. Had a play exactly like that close to the end of the second quarter.
Defense, number 11, 5-yard penalty. Still, first down.
They get Charles Snowden, the long, athletic outside linebacker.
But in fairness, when you're 6'7", it's hard to have your whole body behind the line of scrimmage.
Boy, he is a good-looking athlete. Mentioned it earlier, they think he's got NFL talent.
6'7", 235. He switched to football late in his high school career. They think he might be one of the most likely NFL players and the most likely future president on this team with the work he does in the community and the way he interacts with kids. Goes to children's hospitals the day before games. On the run here on 1st and 5, but a short completion to Marcus Joyner, who picks up 4.
You just see how efficient Stone Smart's distributing the football. It's out quickly. You know, when things break down, he's smart with it, not trying to force it, holding on to it, making sure it's secure. That's how you win football games. Got a whole lot of belief right now, which was one of the things that Coach Wilder talked about.
Second down. It's a handoff and a bruising run for Robert Washington.
Looks like he might just have enough for the first down to where they're spotting it. I think they're going to move the chains. Absolutely.
It is first down, Old Dominion.
Right now, the order of business for ODU is just keep plugging along. And they went on that long drive where you described it. They ate up about half of the first quarter. They need another one of those with points on the end of it.
First down's 11-5 in favor of the Monarchs. Send the tight end Cunningham in motion. Smart will throw it. Under pressure, he'll dump it in the direction of Cunningham. And it was big Charles Snowden, the first one to the QB.
He is fantastic and an excellent pass rusher. Only a sack on the year, but he has been close. And a few times in this ball game, Snowden's going to come free and on the quarterback forcing the ball out of Stone Smart's hands. They need a few more of those and maybe for Snowden to get home. ODU needs one of these receivers to shake free.
Eric Kuma still without a catch. The Virginia Tech grad transfer. Smart once again with Snowden in his face. Intercepted. It's picked off by Zane Zandier, who zigzags home for a UVA score.
What's impressive about it is Stone Smart was actually trying to throw the football away. And as he was falling to the ground under pressure, it stayed in the air a little bit longer, and Zandier came up with it. He's trying to throw that one to the feet of Keyshawn Strong. Nice hands there on the part of the junior linebacker, Zandier.
His first career interception. The junior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he attended, yes, Thomas Jefferson High School.
We just talked about how Smart had taken care of the football, didn't turn it over, and lo and behold, Zandier makes him pay for it. Trying to escape, Snowden's in his face and right into the hands of Zandier, who puts it in the end zone.
First career touchdown, a pick six. Second pick six of the year for UVA. And it's turning into a wahoo-wah kind of night here on the UVA grounds. And special teams gets in on the action with an absolute blow-up. Harris Jones rocks the house, and Old Dominion will start at the 10.
Tried to keep Blake Watson in the end zone, and he decided to bring it out. kind of wishing that he would have stayed there, but tremendous pressure on the part of Snowden. This is the definition of complementary football, where the pressure creates an opportunity for a teammate, and Zane Zandier takes it full advantage. Stone Smart trying to throw that one to the feet of Keyshawn Strong and left a little bit too much air under it.
And credit to Hayden Mitchell, who was in on that special teams tackle too. So now ODU is backed up right in the face of the Virginia students, who are rip-roaring intense. There is Snowden. He's trying to push back Davis into the end zone.
Wow.
Depends on the forward progress here, and it looks like Davis will be marked down right around the 1.
And now the crowd is involved. You got an inspired defense and a guy that is ball hawking in Charles Snowden. Sometimes you got to know when the fight's over. We haven't seen Lala Davis for a long time. He checks in there, and Charles Snowden trying to escort him to a safety.
7 tackles, couple of big pressures for Snowden. Smart from the Diamond, Virginia in the end zone will air it out. A lot of contact here and a flag.
Yeah, trying to go to his top receiver and the team's best receiver in Eric Kuma. And he gets tied up along the sideline. And I love the play call. It's an absolute
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
It's an absolute fantastic play call by Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator. You're backed up down here. Why not take a shot? You got a smart quarterback that understands. Get back, get set, shoot it out there. And that's what happens. Either a catch. The worst thing that can happen is an incomplete pass. Now you got room to work and a first down and fresh set of downs.
It was Nick Grant who got tangled up with Kuma. So 15 yards after the loss of 9. Stick it in the belly of Washington, and he's swallowed up whole for a loss of 1.
Have to take a few more risks. The running game is just not there. You got a defense that's fired up. They're stopping the run. You have to throw to run here for a little while if you're Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator.
Total yardage in the second half in the wrong direction.
Yeah, everybody's packed in there playing run.
6 tackles for loss for UVA in the game.
Well, they got him outnumbered down at the bottom.
Smart pressured again. Smart eludes the initial surge. He's got blue and orange in his face, and the pass is incomplete. Bryce Hall on the coverage against Stephen Williams. 3rd and long coming up.
Well, he had Dante Anthony, the big 6'6" tight end, wide open. He just needed to put the ball on him. And now you know pressure's coming. So that's the conversation in the huddle. Hey, look, it's 3rd and long. We might have to run to get to the first down marker. So expect pressure. If you see it, shorten your routes off. The ball's coming out quick. And for Stone Smart, he's got to get back, get set, and the ball's got to be coming. From an initial look, Virginia looks like they're going to play zone. So he'll have some time.
It's a rush of only 3 at first. A delayed handoff to Keyshawn Strong for an Old Dominion first down.
And it's just playing numbers. You're only going to rush 4. We got 5 to block 4. All Strong has to do is pop the line of scrimmage. What a game that's being called by Brian Scott. Not trying to throw in the coverage.
And Smart with a high pass. Bryce Hall was nearly on it. Did he get it before it hit the ground? The official's going to rule it incomplete.
An incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Oh boy. It's an airmail from Smart.
What Bryce doesn't realize is that they're going to review it anyway. Somebody's already looking at that one, big fella.
Old Dominion's going to try to snap it before it can be reviewed. They are successful in doing so. And Strong has another successful run out to the 36, a gain of 7.
I'll say Bronco Mendenhall knows a thing about a thing or two. So he talked to us yesterday about this ODU team. He had a lot of respect for this group. Watching them on film and the way they go about their business, he expected a game just like we're having.
He had a lot more respect than Las Vegas did. This was a 4-touchdown underdog.
Timeout. Virginia, their first timeout of the half.
Virginia had about 8 players on the field there. They had 3 running off. They were discombobulated. And Bronco Mendenhall takes the timeout. 3rd and 3. Comes up tackle has more consecutive starts in the FBS level than Bryce Hall. 37 straight tonight. And the potential first-rounders made an impact.
Well, I tell you what, he's been excellent in coverage. It's been hard to get these ODU receivers open. Tight coverage by Bryce Hall. And he's willing to mix it up in the running game as well. Putting his head in there and making a couple of stops. Almost coming up with a couple of interceptions in the ball game.
Said he came back to school because he had unfinished business. Pro Football Focus rated him the 4th best returning player, period, in the country heading to this year. And he's at the bottom of the formation right now, locked up against Kuma.
Best on best.
On a 3rd down, Smart will not go that way. Old Dominion keeps it on the ground.
They may have it.
It was Blake Watson churning forward right to the line to gain. We wait for an official word, and there it is, a 1st down Monarchs.
I actually thought if Smart would have kept the football, he could have run for the 1st down, a little more congested inside, but Watson's able to pick it up, and that's how you silence a crowd, by just simply picking up 1st downs and methodically moving your way down the field like ODU has been here in the 2nd half, or throughout the ball game for that matter.
Watson, the motion man, fake it to Washington. Smart is sacked. Brought down by Richard Burney, the senior defensive end for Virginia, with his 1st sack of the season.
And we asked Nick Howell, what style of defense? How would you describe your defense? Well, we want to be aggressive but sound, and that's exactly what happened in this play. They brought pressure, it got picked up, and that allowed Burney to come free from the left defensive end spot.
It's in fact his 1st career sack. He spent his first 3 years as a tight end and redshirted after being hurt 3 games into last year.
His dad, he's got some good stock. Dad played tight end and linebacker at Wisconsin.
2nd and 18, a running play for Lala Davis to set up 3rd and long, and to set us up to Kevin Connors back in the studio.
Hey, Kev, Ian Book is 5-0 in 5 career road starts. Between the hedges tonight, 4th and goal to Cole Kmet, the unintended receiver, but he hauls it in anyway. Georgia has just 88 total yards in the 1st half. Meantime, Chuba Hubbard, 8 rushing touchdowns this year. That's tied for the most in the FBS. 38 2nd quarter points in that Oak State-Texas game, Kev.
An unsurprising shootout down at TKR. Thank you, Kev. 3rd and 14. Smart gets away. Can he throw across his body and make a play? No, he leaves it short for Joyner.
I'll tell you what, Joyner was running wide open. A lot of guys had left their zone areas, and Smart could square up or just take the hit to stand there. Joyner was waiting on it wide open.
Is that what is being told him, you think, right now on the sideline?
Well, he's being told that somebody was open before he started to scramble.
Well, if nothing else, Old Dominion was 2nd and 19 at its own 1, and at least has a chance to flip field position in a major way, getting 35 yards after that. Billy Kemp on the fair catch will be marked at the 31 after a punt of 34.
Well, Marcus Joyner was open across the middle, and I think he was there early. You see him right there, could pop wide open, then the scramble drill starts.
.30 Eastern, Boomer and TJ are back with what?
Prime time.
NFL Prime Time, only on ESPN Plus. Highlights and breakdowns from all that day's game. SVP and Joe Tess join the show later with updates from Sunday and Monday night's games. To get ESPN Plus, download the app, go to espnplus.com. It was like they never left watching it this Sunday night, just like it was 2005, just like it was 1995 again.
Yeah. You talk about chemistry. They have built it over the years, and the offensive lineman for
Officials timeout for
Tyler
injury.
Fannin has gone down. Maybe looks like cramps.
It's been a sticky day here in Charlottesville. Mid to upper 80s much of the day.
Tell you what, it changed. Yesterday, it felt like a beautiful fall day, and the weather had taken a turn, and then we came out of the hotel to come to the stadium today, and somebody turned the humidity on.
So 2nd down and 6 for Bryce Perkins after a gain of 4. Bryce Perkins from quite the football family. His dad Bryce, a running back of the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Indianapolis Colts after playing at Arizona State in the late 80s. His brother Paul has had an eventful week. Waived by the Giants Monday, claimed by the Lions Tuesday, who cut C.J. Anderson and picked him up after a career at UCLA. And then Uncle Dom, maybe the best of them all. 8 seasons, 6 Pro Bowls. How about them Cowboys?
Wow. It's a family tree for you, football players right there.
Bryce Perkins, who began his career at Arizona State, 1 year at JUCO, and he hit Tavares Kelly, who saw the ball get ripped out near the end with a tackle by Jordan Young, but it went out of bounds after a gain of 16.
Yeah, he was wide open. Caleb Ford-Demant was playing way off in coverage. Just too much cushion.
Kelly a little hobbled after that play. The running back Talapapa goes in motion. Perkins, the screen was covered up.
Yeah, smart play. Smart play on the part of Perkins. Keon White, again, had sniffed that out and was dropping back because he felt like the offensive line just wasn't blocking hard enough. And every time that happens, the D-line, that's a sense or a trigger where they're going to turn and look for a back. Keon White was right there in the passing lane. Big down here for Bryce Perkins. 2nd and long.
Perkins will keep it himself, get blasted by White. Oh, the bandit on the spot. Keon White with a major takedown.
You think they aren't singing the praises on that sideline with that move from defensive end to bandit? David Blackwell got to be pretty happy and satisfied with the move of Keon White. Coming off the edge. His job of chasing down Bryce Perkins, now creating 3rd and long.
Couple of tackles for loss and a half sack 2 weeks ago for White.
They're going to bring pressure themselves.
On 3rd and 11, Perkins looking to the sideline for Kelly. It is incomplete with the coverage by the linebacker Jordan Young down the field.
And Bryce Perkins took a shot from Keon White. Right at the end of it, Keon White's going to come free. They're very much in this ball game. That's why that interception really, really hurt. And it made it just a 3-point game for Virginia.
Nice spiraling kick by Griffin and a fair catch made at the 15 by Brown. A bend but not break series for Old Dominion.
Well, what it did was it flipped the field. So now you're inside your 20-yard line, and you have to be conservative if you're ODU. So even without points or moving the football or converting there, you're able to flip the field.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 players lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the kick. 1st down. Timeout.
Old Dominion football. The Monarchs still up 3. Extra Yard for Teachers Week is an annual celebration led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that honors great teachers across the country. To learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard or search the hashtag Extra Yard Week.
Yeah, I had some good ones, but my favorite was always Miss Sandra Smith, my 5th grade teacher. Still keep in touch to this day.
Blake Watson swallowed up after no game. Why was Miss Sandra Smith such a special teacher?
Just a sweet lady that took some time and to a knucklehead in 5th grade that kind of showed me the way and how to prepare and how to study, and it was just always there. And then, you know, it kind of rubbed off on one of my classmates, Stacy Kettler, where she became a teacher herself, who's an elementary teacher down in my hometown of Dickinson, Texas. So both of them have they have a relationship. We all still keep in touch. And, this kind of one passing the torch to the other.
Stone Smart and Old Dominion with 2nd down and 10 from the Monarchs' own 20. Again, pressure. Oh, Smart took a big hit, and he got rid of it to the tight end, Dante Anthony, for a gain of 8 yards.
Don't forget that Smart is a big fellow. At 6'4", about 220 pounds. He can take some hits. Stood right in there and took one to get it to Anthony, the big tight end. And now they're set up where they can actually convert and maybe move the chains here.
He's completed 14 passes now to 8 different receivers. Is this a run or a pass for you? 3rd and 2.
When you count the box, it would be a pass just by the numbers in the box.
3rd down. It's a run, and it should have been a pass.
A little conservative there. You had man-to-man on the outside. You're looking for someone to win for you. And Eric Kuma had their team's best receiver. He had man coverage. Not a lot in the secondary. If he catches it, he may run for a while. But they stacked the box with 8 and daring you to run the football.
No gain for Keyshawn Strong. It will be another punt for Old Dominion.
It's just simple. Count the guys in the box. You know what's coming, or what should come, or what play should be called. Oh, he hit that one.
A lot of high punts, not many deep for Kate in this game. This one drives Kent back inside the 25. He's tripped up almost immediately. That kick of 50 yards is returned for only 3. Well, Virginia last week held the ball for nearly 2/3 of the game against Florida State. Really wore the Seminoles down late in the game. The tables turned on UVA in this one. The Cavaliers have just 103 total yards. And Old Dominion, the Old Dominion Monarchs at a Conference USA are nearly plus 12 minutes in time of possession.
Just under 16 minutes for Virginia. That's unheard of, and puts a tremendous amount of pressure on you to have to score.
Perkins scrambling and taken down after a short gain by Marcus Haynes. As we go downstairs, check in with Ed.
Yeah, Kevin, Bryce Perkins is usually standing by quarterbacks coach Jason Beck during defensive drives, but they were pretty animated with each other, going over different kinds of routes. They're using their arms to show where Bryce Perkins was clearly looking at a different route on that incomplete pass that ended their last drive. But they were smiling. It was all right, but you could tell that they're starting to talk about cleaning some things up.
And Perkins on the short completions is 10 for 17.
Start cleaning it up in a hurry, because we're inching towards the 4th quarter, and they haven't had the ball very long. And if not for that gifted interception for a touchdown, they would really be climbing a steep hill.
Now 18 attempts for just 78 yards. Perkins will run it on 3rd down, and he's taken down right near the line to gain, which is the 35.
Now this is where I would quick snap. If you're going to go for it here, go ahead and quick snap it, but into the quarter is not going to allow for it.
Well, Perkins had been perfect picking up first downs.
On the field is the ball carrying short of the line of gain. 4th down.
On every
that
third,
is the end of the 3rd quarter.
On every 3rd or 4th down this year where he'd ran it, Perkins had picked up the first down until that one. 4th and an inch for Virginia when we return. Start of the 4th quarter, Old Dominion 17, 21st ranked Virginia 14. And we might have a fake here for UVA. In fact, it might have been Old Dominion jumping off sides as the up man ran under center and caused some motion on the line.
It's going to be a 1st down for Virginia and allow the drive to continue.
Which side budged first?
They're talking about it. Virginia seems to think it's a done deal, but the officials are taking a long time to talk this over. Maybe he was influenced into jumping.
It was Tanner Cowley, the tight end and punt protector, who jumped under center. Here comes the call.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty. First down.
And that's what happens during a quarter change, which Mendenhall's able to pull out all the tricks and get ODU to jump, where this drive's going to continue for Virginia.
Boy, that's just brilliant from the Virginia sideline.
It's awesome.
And if you jump, whatever, you punt it and you don't lose much. But an absolutely beautiful gamble, in Virginia keeps the ball at its own 39. Down 3 in the fourth quarter at home to the Monarchs of Old Dominion. And Perkins into double coverage, short arms it for Terrell Chapman, who had no shot, sandwiched between Caleb Ford-Dement and Harrell Blackman from behind.
Yeah, Caleb Ford-Dement was actually in better position to reel that one in than the intended receiver. This is excellent defense here by ODU. Excellent in zone. You got a safety over the top to help out.
Ford-Dement's had a great game defensively. The JUCO transfer from Kilgore College. Now Perkins is pressured from behind by White. He's got a wide receiver running free, and it's the running back Lamont Atkins, who's spun down across the 30.
We're similar to Geiger, and right along the same sideline and area of the field where Geiger ran for a touchdown. Now that offsides penalty on ODU starting to loom large. This sneaks the back out of the backfield, little flare pattern.
Officials timeout for injury.
And once things broke down, he's able to come free. Atkins right up the sideline. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. They love throwing the football to him.
Juwan Ross is hurt, meanwhile, for Old Dominion. A gain of 34 yards on
Please
the play.
set the game clock for 14 minutes, 32 seconds. 14:32.
Hot and sticky and humid. A lot of guys starting to cramp up.
Thank you.
Well, this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to that university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Juwan Ross is on his feet and headed to the Old Dominion sideline. The 34-yard catch for Lamont Atkins, Virginia's longest play of the game. Perkins now 12 for 20, 112 yards. And Virginia is within field goal range, down a score to the Old Dominion Monarchs on a Saturday night.
Now you're just hoping to hold a field goal if you're ODU, and Virginia, you're looking to punch it in the end zone.
On first down, Talapapa is met immediately, does get a couple of extra yards with the drive. He was hit by Jordan Young on first surge.
Been impressed with ODU against the run, making it tough. They've been bend but don't break in certain situations up front. I'm telling you, they're playing a lot better than the film I watched of when they played against Virginia Tech.
Could you have ever imagined 36 yards on just 18 carries,
No.
just 2 yards a carry for UVA?
You couldn't have sold me on that one coming in.
Perkins to PK Kyer. And Kyer breaks free of the leg tackle and is blasted out of bounds across the 20-yard line and appearing to be just shy of a first down.
Geronda Hall came in and finished things up. He kept stringing him out, and then the safety comes up. And he had a little say-so at the end of that one. A big hit at the end of that.
On 3rd and 2, Talapapa is swallowed up by Lawrence Garner.
He is one of our impact players, and plays like that is the reason why.
Here comes the field goal unit.
The old G or low is what they call him here. At ODU, rather, his teammates.
And a kick of 37 upcoming from Brian Delaney, 5 for 7 on the year. Delaney to tie it. It is blocked. The kick blocked by Keon White.
Guess who? The guy that's done everything tonight defensively for ODU. He has had some ball game. A position change, and he has made the most of it, and he's making David Blackwell look like a genius.
The nation now knows about Keon White. Tight end turned defensive end turned bandit extraordinaire. Player of the year for David Blackwell. Keon White on his first night as the bandit has made a major impact. A blocked field goal, 1.5 tackles for loss, and he's been all around the ball otherwise. His block kick has kept Old Dominion in the lead. A 3-point lead early in the fourth quarter here at Scott Stadium.
And they got to get out of this hole on this end of the field, but if you're Virginia, you're looking for another turnover.
Running play on second down for Keyshawn Strong. Third down coming up. Let's check in with Kevin Connors.
Hey, kept by his standards anyway, a quiet first half for DeAndre Swift. 7 carries, 33 yards, but Uga will take this 3-yard plunge. The Irish kicked a field goal to end the half. They're up 10-7, eyeing their 900th win in program history. Kev?
All right, Kevin, a third down. ODU goes back to the ground with Strong. Monarchs think they have forward progress, but Mandy Alonso cleaned it up, and it's a third down stop for UVA.
They're going to have to punt it away this deep into their own territory.
And
with a lead.
Tony Barnett, Andre, the left guard, is down as well.
Yeah, it looks
on the field. The ball carrier's down short of the line to gain. Fourth down.
It looks like
Officials
cramps.
timeout for injury.
Cramps to another offensive lineman. That is pain right there, man. When you were cramping up in a football game, nothing you can do about it until it just decides it wants to subside a little bit.
3.5-year starter Tony Barnett, his 33rd career start tonight.
They get great penetration up front to Virginia, and there was nowhere to run.
Matt Gamm was leading the charge there for UVA. Bobby Wilder has shown some guts in this game. I think this would be a little bit too risky from your own 30 with 11:22 to go. He is talking to the offense, though.
And then you got an injured 3-year starter basically going to take a play off. I'd punt it here. But he's sending him back out there
at the
very least to try to get Virginia to jump like ODU did, which gave him the first down.
The Monarchs at their own 30 are going to run a play. It's Smart, and he is taken down shy of the line to gain. There was a flag thrown late.
Why? When you have Strong that's been running so tough between the tackles. And it's going to be a hold, which will be declined.
Oh, my.
And it'll be Virginia's football.
Holding. Offense, number 64. Penalty is declined. Turnover on downs. Virginia football, first down.
I guess the thought process is, you know, if you can't get a yard, then you don't deserve it. But with Tony Barnett out of the ball game, a 3-year starter at left guard, that right there in itself might have told me, go ahead and punt the football, because we're not as strong as we would normally be if he's in the ball game. That makes a world of difference.
Told us he was going to cut it loose in the fourth quarter if he had the chance. Bobby Wilder,
man of his word.
He qualifies. Boy, oh boy. So Virginia will take over from the Old Dominion 30. And Perkins off the play fake delivers to the tight end Tanner Cowley. Down inside the 10. Marked down to the 7. A gain of 23. Here comes first and goal.
Yep. Off a big play like that, you got to go to the air. He's able to to find his big tight end. A nice play fake to hold the linebackers. And now they're at point-blank range with a dynamic playmaker in Bryce Perkins.
On the ground, Talapapa. Touchdown.
They're just no nonsense. After holding on 4th down, they pointed themselves right downhill and got extremely aggressive. The pass to Tanner Cowley, the tight end, and then Talapapa, no nonsense. Get them turned or headed north and south. That's just good, tough running. And we got a totally different ball game.
For the first time tonight, Virginia has the lead. Old Dominion scored the first 17. The Cavaliers have 21 straight, and that 4th down decision by ODU to go for it at its own 30-yard line looms awfully large. First, it was the tight end Cowley.
And then it's going to be Wayne Talapapa to finish it off, but got very aggressive offensively. And now Virginia with
1-yard touchdown run for Wayne Talapapa after an unusual sequence of events. Before 4th down, the left guard Tony Barnett, a 3.5-year starter, limps off the field.
Yeah, he's limping off with cramps, or what we think are cramps, and then they decide to go for it. Coach Wilder, and I'm totally for it if you're healthy up front, but you just watched your left guard limp off the field, and nowhere to go for Stone Smart.
Handed Virginia the ball at the 30. The Cavaliers convert with a touchdown in 2 plays.
And you know, it should have been, maybe the staff tells him, the training staff, hey, Tony's out. And maybe he rethinks that with his starting left guard out of the ball game, but a lot of time left. Certainly make up for it.
You admire the gumption.
Yes.
For Bobby Wilder. He practices what he preaches, but at your own 30-yard line with a dented offensive line,
yeah, I'm totally,
you would question it.
No, make no bones about it. I'm totally fine with him going for it if you have a healthy offensive line, which he clearly didn't.
So Barnett's back in the game. Old Dominion has been completely shut down offensively in the second half. Just 33 yards. Run the option play here. This is going nowhere. In fact, in reverse. Strong upended by Brett Nelson. It's another tackle for a loss. Virginia's 8th.
Well, that's an excellent open field tackle by the safety Nelson, coming up in run support. And now all of a sudden Virginia's the team that's playing downhill.
And Barnett just limped off again. Andrew Lawson back in at left guard. Smart on the run. Smart with a pump fake. Oh, little Vince Young there as Smart scampers along the sideline.
They ruled him out back at about the 23-yard line, right on the sideline. He stepped out right around the 23. This place is going to get loud again.
That was VY versus Oklahoma State with a difference of about 70 yards. 3rd and 12. Here come the Cavs. Smart. Short.
Trying to put it in a place where Herslow could catch it or nobody would catch it. A smart place to place the football. Had the yards necessary to pick up the first down. But he's open early when Smart is sliding. As soon as he came free, the ball's got to be on it. Just waited too long, and you can't wait till a guy's just wide open. It's unrealistic. Sometimes you hear the term throwing guys open. Well, you didn't have to throw him open. He was open from right off the line of scrimmage.
It's a couple of 3rd and longs where Smart has missed open receivers in this half. Bailey Cates punt, a line drive punt, only a kick of 35 and fielded by Kemp to give Virginia great field position. Once again, the Cavaliers have the lead. They've got the ball. The lead on upset-minded Old Dominion 364 days after the shocking program-altering win, or so it seemed at the time, over Virginia Tech. Old Dominion did limp to the finish, went just 4-8 last year, 1-1 to start this season, and looking to slay another in-state giant. Bryce Perkins on first down will spin away Keon White in on the stop along with Calvin Bruton for a gain of 2. Kick off your week 3 tomorrow with Sunday NFL Countdown. Randy Moss ranks the best catches from today's college football action. And you got Mossed. Plus, Patrick Mahomes breaks down the art of the no-look pass, and we take an exclusive look at Sean Watson's off-season trip around the world. Sunday NFL Countdown begins at 10 a.m. Eastern. ESPN.
Watching the play tomorrow. Right in the face of Bryce Perkins.
Dubois now 12 yards shy of 1,000 career. The second catch of the night. And we've got a Virginia timeout.
Virginia, their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, it's about that time for Joe Reed to get himself involved. Been quiet since the first quarter. They're at a spot on the field in which you may push it towards the end zone.
Well, if you're just joining us, you missed quite the start. Old Dominion, a nearly 8-minute drive ended in a field goal, then a touchdown run for Stone Smart. Then this third down to wide open Matt Geiger, and it was 17-0 Monarchs in the blink of an eye. But UVA came back with a fourth down touchdown run for Bryce Perkins. And then this pick six from Zane Zandier early in the third quarter really turned the game around.
And the blocked field goal where ODU stalled some momentum. They go for it on fourth down. Won't get there, and then put
that hurry up. At his first career sack earlier in the game, Bernie, the converted tight end.
Good to see him walking off under his own power.
Well, nothing much has worked for Old Dominion in the second half. So if you're Brian Scott, what do you draw up?
Well, I like the approach here where they're going hurry up, trying to just get some momentum, steal some momentum, get a quick score here. And allow Stone Smart to push the ball around.
5 rush for the Cavaliers. Smart gets rid of it, incomplete. Grant with a smothering coverage on Hassan Patterson.
Grant, one of the most respected players in this program. Well, the guys look up to him. He's his first year as a starter, but he has been solid, off to a good start.
Pick six a couple of starts ago, his first career interception against William and Mary. He said he told all his friends, when I get my first career pick, I'm going to take it to the house. On third down, Old Dominion keeps it on the ground, and it's Blake Watson who stretches and looks to have enough for the first down.
They've done a nice job up front when they spread out Virginia. They were able to run the football, and that's the way you want to continue to do it. When they pack it in, they've made it tough on themselves to try to run between the tackles.
Rolling on the field is a first down. The previous play is under review.
Give everybody a chance to rest a little bit.
This might be okay because one of the offensive linemen, Cameron Muller, right guard, big number 65, was a little bit slow to get up after that play, and the Old Dominion training staff gets to take a look at him.
Well, you know, Tony Barnett has limped off a couple of times with cramps. I'm not sure he's even in the ball game. I think Andrew Lawson is still in.
So the line to gain here is the 45, and the question, where is the ball when the knee is down? And it does not appear to be at the 45.
Not sure where the ball is, so as the knee hits, it's going to be short of the line, the yard to gain. Just shot. It is definitely not at the 45-yard line. When that knee goes down, maybe the 44. So that'll bring up, it'll be 4th down.
So this is obviously go for it territory.
Oh, no doubt
4th
about
down
it.
and a yard. What's the play call here? Whether or not you have your right guard in, does that impact?
I give it to Strong. For the way he's run the ball, no doubt about it.
There's Barnett talking to Lawson, the backup left guard, by the way, at the bottom of that huddle.
Maybe telling him I'm ready to check back in. I got you, big
Good
guy.
effort, son.
Good job that last play, but I got you this next one.
After further review, the ball carrier's right knee was down when the ball was at the 46-yard line. 4th down at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, you don't even flinch. Here, you got to go for it.
The game clock will start on my signal.
All right, you like Strong, but I'm not sure he's in the game right now.
We're going to go with Stone Smart here to run it.
Well, this didn't work earlier in the quarter. Motion man is Watson. Smart will take it again. Stone Smart, and he's got the 1st down.
Changing personnel, got to get everybody set. A lot of time being wasted.
Smart sacked. Snowden was there.
It's a 2-minute approach at this point in the game, and I asked you that earlier in the game. What's the #1 rule in the 2-minute drill? You can't take a sack as a quarterback.
Matt Gamm was in there as well, sharing the sack with Snowden. On the keeper, Smart is knocked down hard, and it was Bryce Hall coming in strong off the edge.
Yeah, Zandier is there as well to help out Bryce Hall. Both have had some ball game tonight. Big down here, and obviously 4-down territory for ODU. You'd like to get a big chunk of this to get it to 3rd and medium.
On the ground, and the running back slips. Strong didn't have his footing, and now it'll be 4th and very long.
Yeah, they were just trying to get it to a manageable situation on 4th down with that play call. Unfortunately, Strong, as you mentioned, loses his footing. Now, if you're Virginia, you're going to play soft, rush 3, and just keep everything in front of you. Not allow one of these receivers to get behind you.
Need to get to the 35, and Snowden gets his man again.
Wow. You talk about explosive off the edge. Stone Smart never had a chance. That is 6'7" and super athletic. My goodness.
That is tackle number 14 for Snowden. 1.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. An absolute breakout party for the junior out of Silver Spring, Maryland. On the keeper now, Perkins. They're going to be having nightmares. Stone Smart will not be able to sleep without seeing 11 in blue and white and orange.
And what got it all started was 33, James Van Deer. He'll relive that one a couple of times as well.
Pick six made it 17-14. Old Dominion has not scored in the second half. Incomplete pass on 1st and 10. Back to the studio, Kevin Connors.
And Kev, a look at Mitchell Gudani. 3 TD strikes a week ago in the blowout win over Murray State. He'll set his sights on a Colorado State defense that's given up 120 points in 3 games. Toledo, Colorado State, 10:25 kick here on ESPN2. If we're not done here, it'll start on ESPN News. Kev?
Kevin could be pointsy. And the Rockets in Fort Collins before a home date with a wild BYU team next week. Perkins. That play was going absolutely nowhere, and this is what Bryce Perkins does. And Perkins with a drop kick at the end delivered to Calvin Bruton, and a flag is down.
It might be a hold that brings this back. Not sure this is even legal. The hurdling guys is one thing.
Offense, number 9, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You ever
the
try
game
that?
clock will start on the snap.
I mean, you were enticed by the hurdles of the Virginia weight room
I'd have been
yesterday.
sliding right there. What are you talking about? Stepping out.
Let's be real, you wouldn't have made it that far in the first place.
You're probably right.
Terrell Chapman with a hold to bring it back. Meanwhile, just when you think you get Bryce Perkins cornered, this is why he excites the folks at Virginia so much. Set the school record for total yardage last year. He was not ready for the snap here, and Perkins lost the ball. It's still loose. It is picked up by Virginia. Tanner Cowley, the tight end, for what was almost absolute disaster. And in fact, it might be because Perkins is slow to get up.
He is really slow to get up.
Offside, defense, number 42, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So after all that, the play negated, but you cannot negate this. Bryce Perkins, who tried to scoop up the ball rather than fall on it, took an absolute lick. Backup quarterback Brennan Armstrong, by the way, is out. That would put Lindell Stone, beg your pardon, the redshirt sophomore, in the game. I mean, you want to make a list of the most indispensable players in the ACC.
You know, Bronco Mendenhall told us yesterday that a big part of why they are off to a 3-0 start is
previous play.
Number 3, Bryce Perkins, and would not be in the position they're in. You talk about holding your breath right now.
Keon White with a hit. Now the play's under review. I wonder if that's for targeting potentially on the hit, because there was an offsides penalty, so this review is for targeting. And the replay officials are told if you think there's even a potential of targeting, check it to be safe.
No, that's not targeting. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
You're going down and making not only an attempt to tackle, but an attempt on the football, or trying to stop him from picking it up. Well, that's a good sign that Bryce Perkins is up and trotting off the field. Very, very well respected by his teammates.
They have 5 classes here in terms of your qualifications physically.
Review, it was determined there was no targeting on the play. 2nd down.
5 qualifications in the weight room, depending on your physical qualities in terms of weightlifting, agility drills, jumping, etc. The highest level is black. Only a few select players are there, and Bryce Perkins is one of those. He is out of the game now, though, Lindell Stowe, the redshirt sophomore, is in the game for the first time since 2017.
Kind of the equivalent of martial arts, where you go from here, it's white, gray, green, white, gray, blue, orange, blue, and then black.
And right now it's white. Keon specifically.
Keon White.
In the backfield again for a loss of 4.
Timeout. Old Dominion.
But it's an interesting concept
30
because
seconds. Timeout.
every 7 weeks you can actually test. And I asked him, has anyone ever skipped 2 levels? And he said absolutely. Noah Taylor was the last to do it, a linebacker that skipped 2 levels.
Well, Bryce Perkins is going to come back in for this 3rd down play after the timeout taken by Old Dominion. And with that timeout, we check in on our college football rankings, brought to you this week by Allstate. And a big game, obviously, between Georgia and Notre Dame in progress right now. The Irish very poor against top 10 opponents over the last couple of decades, but they're in the game right now, tied at 10. The only top 10 team so far to lose this week. That was Utah last night to USC.
Tied at 10 apiece. No problem for the nation's #1 team today.
And then we're going to see Ohio State next week on Saturday Night Football, number 6 at Nebraska, 7:30 Eastern over on ABC. Undefeated Buckeyes fresh off a 71-point win over Miami, Ohio. On 3rd down, you got to be kidding me.
Guess who?
Keon White dismantles Virginia's offensive line on 3 consecutive plays and takes Perkins to the ground.
Old Dominion, their 2nd timeout of the half.
You talk about
32nd
not
timeout.
just putting everybody in Conference USA on notice. He's putting a lot of NFL scouts on notice tonight as well. Right off the edge and able to make his way around the corner. You can't block him with a back. Forget about it. What a night for Keon White.
3.5 tackles for loss plus a sack. We talked to Lawrence Garner a couple of days ago. He said Keon's a freak. He's one of the most athletic players on the team. It was only a matter of time before he was unleashed. And win or lose, a star is born in Charlottesville tonight.
What a game. Wow. Plays on special teams as well.
Nash Griffin gets the punt away with White almost in his face. And this is into the end zone.
The guy has got a motor like none I've ever seen. You don't see many,
I'm sure you've seen some.
You don't see many 6'4", 270-pound guys on the punt team coming off the edge and almost getting there. They're not signing up to do that. They'll pass rush.
Again, moved from tight end in spring ball. He was their 2nd leading returning receiver. He had 11 catches last year. And he said, I tell coaches every day that I'm playing both ways next year. I don't think they will let him the night he's had defensively tonight. I wouldn't want him near an offensive huddle.
Yeah, this is where it's tough when you're struggling to throw the football and about 3 minutes left in the game. You should be airing it out right here and completing passes, moving down the field. They're having to settle for draw plays.
Smart pressured again, and he will get rid of it to the sideline. Boy, this Old Dominion team a few years ago had Taylor Heineke and a high-flying offense. They had a 700-yard passing game once. Things have changed now. That's just not the quarterback Smart is at the moment, and it's a very young group around him.
And it's a smart way to coach football because everything offensively is going to be run through your quarterback. You have to make sure you're not giving him too much or asking him to do something that he's not equipped to do. They're building this offense around Stone Smart, but it's more or less the spread and not the air raid.
Stone Smart set. Charles Snowden in on the play along with Aaron Famui. And Snowden adds to his career night with his 15th tackle.
You talk about Keon White. Charles Snowden has been equally as impressive. 2 guys trying to block him. They can't get a hand on him.
switched to football late in his high school career. He had some Division I basketball offers. They probably don't need him down the road at John Paul Jones Arena, but they'll take him here at Scott Stadium. And a kick away on 4th and 14 for Kate. But Kemp just don't want to fumble the ball at this point, and he does not. So one timeout left for ODU, which can stop the clock one final time, but Virginia has all but put the game on ice. What is this win going to look like? What is it going to feel like for Bronco Mendenhall?
Well, after a tough game last week against Florida State, you knew you'd have your hands full, and he told us about Florida State and this one with ODU and the respect he had for Old Dominion. But hey, you take a win any way you can get it. It took them a while to get started, but they certainly have finished things off.
You just saw there the last 38 games trailing by double-digit points at the half. They've lost 37 of them. They're going to go to 2-37 there. And we go back to Kevin Connors in the studio. Kev.
And Kev, want to let you know, you can see right there, they're about to get underway in Fort Collins, Toledo, and Colorado State. You can see the start of that one over on ESPN News. And, of course, in its entirety here on ESPN2 when things go final in Charlottesville. Mike Cousins, Kirk Morrison on the call. Toledo, Colorado State coming up, and you can see it right now on ESPN News. Kev?
Kev, you're getting an extra game check for this one, my man. Busy night for our guy Kevin Connors in the studio. Toledo, Colorado State, as you heard, coming up. And what's been a terrific day of college football. Tonight over on ESPN after UCLA Wazoo, Linda Stanhope Sports Center from Los Angeles. Herbie's biggest takeaways from a day of top 20 matchups. So look back at Gardner Minshew, the former Cougars' crazy week. And we'll see if the Cubs can regroup in the wild card chase. Came into the day 2 behind Milwaukee, and they lost a heartbreaker to the Cardinals. Sports Center after college football, ESPN and the ESPN app. Your Houston Astros, meanwhile, safely in the driver's seat.
Back-to-back home runs yesterday.
Talapapa with the clincher.
Boy, does he run hard.
7 yards to finish it off. Old Dominion cannot slay another giant in the first meeting between the Monarchs and the Cavaliers. It took some time, but Virginia pulls it out in the fourth quarter. Bronco Mendenhall's team scores the final 28. Bobby Wilder aggressive.